there. So, for my final project in the comedic lens, I would like to tell you a story from my childhood that I think is funny enough to maybe net me an A in this class. You'll see. So, three things to get to before we begin. Three important pieces of information. Number one, my mother is an artist. She makes jewelry, beautiful specimens like this one. And I have spent most of my young life doing art shows on the weekends. So retail is something I'm exceedingly familiar with, and I have plenty of stories. I started doing high-end retail at probably age 4, so, before I could even say the words argentium alloy, I was trying to flatter people and say, "Oh, that looks so good on you. Oh my god." You gotta make dough as a 4-year-old. However, number two, I would say probably skill at customer service and at retail didn't really transfer over to talking to people for the first 18 years of I'm 18. 18 years of my life. I suffered from really bad social anxiety as a kid. So that'll set up number three, which is that my mother is a hard ass and she wants to solve problems. She wants to fix them. Okay. With all of that settled, I take you to when I was 12 or 13 years old. We were doing a show in one of those rich suburbs of Tampa, like Hyde Park or, Winter Springs or Gentrificationville or something like that. And I had set up an art show with my mother, and I was on my mandatory break because you can't make kids work for more than 8 hours at a time, labor laws or whatever. And so I was on a break. I was on my computer, my little computer, and I was tapping away. When halfway through the day, it was kind of slow, but it was picking up towards the end. My mother decided that she was really hungry. The salad that she packed was not cutting it. And so she turned to me and she gave the order, "Go get us some food." I looked around the very rich, very well-off suburb, the city street that I was in. I looked for restaurants and I quickly identified the most bougie places I've ever seen in my life. I was like, "No." She was like, "Do it." And I was like, She's like, "Do it." I'm like, "Fine." Because, my mother's the one who, pays for my food if I go get it and stuff. And so little socially anxious me was all like, okay, I can do this. I get the money and stuff. My mom gives me a wad of bills and stuff. I just shove it in my little, pocket, my little bag and stuff. And I'm like, I'm on my way. I leave the booth and I conduct my scan again. Still rich, still expensive, still a lot of people who I don't want to talk to, who are dodging and weaving in and out of these streets. I'm very short, and I'm very anxious, and so I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, I could be trampled. I could die, maybe, even. And so what I decide to do is, after not seeing any affordable or approachable places to eat, I decide to take a walk. I decide to go around the entirety of the art show to see if I can find any lunch place that's not, black tie, maitre d', those kind of waiters zipping and buzzing around there. I am thoroughly unsuccessful. I walk for such a long time. I'm like a little 12-year-old, alone in an unfamiliar, I don't want to say city suburb, and I can't find anything. So what I do is I walk back and I tell my mom, I'm like, I can't do it. I'm this is too scary for me. I'll watch the booth, My mother says, "No, this is a learning opportunity." I go, "Oh, fuck." my mother says, go to that one. She points across the street. I look across the street. It's the worst offender. There's these little tables outside with their little fancy umbrellas. There's like high society couples going like, oh, you know, at each other. There's waiters in bow ties and these white dress shirts and like these cute, these like little like black aprons, and they're all zipping around and they're holding things, and I'm terrified. I go, no, I can't, and stuff. My mother lets out. She doesn't. In my memory, you know, she like, you know, is like wah and stuff. But like realistically, knowing her, she probably just looks at me. And so I go, okay, my resolve, I'm really hungry at this point too. And so my resolve is up. I march across the street. There's revolving doors. There's revolving glass doors to get into the restaurant. I push my way into little glass revolving doors, and I immediately walk back around and walk out. I don't even get a glimpse at the inside. I don't even get to scout out my plan of attack. I just go, nope. I walk back. My mother, from across the street, looking at me from across the booth, mouths the words, I go, ah. I sit there. A waiter, like, passes me and goes, like, you know, like moves on and stuff. I'm still hyping myself up. I'm like, I push my way back through the doors, the revolving glass doors. I walk in to the front desk person. They go, can we help you? I'm like, I just on loop, you know, and they're like, oh, do you want to order? Okay, just go to the back there. They point to a bar, a circular bar that is lit like a nightclub. I'm 12 years old. And one fun fact, I had recently realized that I was gay and stuff. And so I don't know how familiar everyone else is with this experience, but usually when you're a kid and you suddenly decide, oh, no, I'm different. I'm definitely not like this. You dress weird and you dress bad, and especially when you're a working class kid at a bougie art show who just spend hours putting up a tent and helping out everyone else put up their tents. My attire for that day consisted of a stained, slightly ripped giveaway t-shirt and also ripped, stained the little workout pants and stuff. I had mismatching socks on and dirty sneakers. My hair was a tangled mess, and I think I might have been just wearing a baseball cap, but like that was like a little too small for me. It was a sight. And I'm in this fancy establishment, this nightclub establishment. It's like 1 p.m. And I go, this is the bravest quest I've ever been on in my young life. I make my way towards the back. I'm stopping every 2 seconds and going, oh my god. I'm like at the brink of a panic attack like the whole time. And so I walk there. I'm approximately, I would say, 10 feet from the bar. An amount of time passes. I cannot tell you how long that amount of time was, but I know it was longer than 5 minutes that I stood there trying to get the bartender's attention as a scared little 12-year-old who is standing just right next to some poor table of people. I'm not saying anything. I'm just shaking silently like a small dog who's been put into a dog park. There's all these bigger, scarier dogs and stuff. Except they're all fancy people, and they're all rich, and they're all drunk. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. My reverie is interrupted by plastered woman who's very blonde, and she's dressed kind of glamorously. You know, she's clearly just come from some big event and she's celebrating. Right next to her is who I assume her husband, and they are just you know, they're having the time of their lives. They are laughing. They are loud. She turns to me and she goes, "Oh my God, you poor thing. Are you okay? Do you need any help?" I go, "Please." There's a lifeboat. There's a life raft suddenly made clear to me in this storm. And this woman, she engages me with all these, like, questions about what I'm doing here. I say I'm a vendor. She's so excited. She's a philanthropist. And she's, you know, going on and on. She's having such a great time. And she's like, "Oh, do you want me to order your food for you?" Yes, dear God. I was trying to summon up resolve and summon up courage that was not there. I was just going to, for all the effort in, I was just going to walk out of that bar. I knew it. But she orders for me, and I have small talk with her husband, who I think, you know, and they're like, "It's a great time," you know. I'm like, I'm feeling comfortable. I'm starting to relax. Turns out I forgot the money. She's like, "I'll pay for it." I'm like, "No." I leave to my mom and I go, "Okay, I look like I just ran a marathon, or maybe I just, you know, did the Dune, you stick my hand in the box, you know. I'm sweating. I'm like panting. I'm like, I'm just in a fancy place. I tell my mom, "I ordered, but I need money. Someone's gonna pay for it." And she's like, "Oh my God, go." My mother has a complex about other people paying, and so she's like, "Go." I take the money, make my way back in, almost turn around at the sliding glass doors because what the fuck am I doing? I push forward bravely. I'm a knight and I am riding my valiant steed of anxiety. I walk up to the woman and I go, "Money and stuff." She goes, "Oh, I already paid for it, sweetheart." I'm like, fuck. She's like, "This is my one act of kindness for today. Pass it on." You know, like the kind of like trite that rich people say, you know. And I'm like, "Thank you so much, thank you," and stuff. I take the box of food and I, victorious, make my way out of there and back to the booth. I place the food down before my mom. It's fish, which I know she's gonna love, and I'm like, "Yeah, I have won, I have succeeded." I open up the box. It is not fish. They gave me the wrong order. They gave me some, like, weird sweet thing that's, like, green, and I'm like, "Oh no." I take a bite. My mother goes, "What is that?" I go, "I don't know." She's like, "Why are you eating it?" I'm like, "I don't know, because I don't want to go back inside." My mother pats me on the back, promises me, I don't even know what she said. Probably promised me like $5 or like a break, you know, if I were to go get the right food. I shut the little container. I hope they don't get mad at me for eating the wrong food. I pick up the container and I go back into hell. Walk. Back to the counter. I'm sorry. She goes, "Oh my God, you're back." And I go, "Yeah, help. They gave me the wrong food." She's like, "Oh," she's like dying of like sympathy. She's like, "Oh my God, you poor thing." You know, I place the food. We get the matter resolved. I talk to her husband. Not her husband, her wife. And I go, "What? What?" My little gay brain is exploding. I'm like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." She, you know, not follows me outside, that's weird, but she, like, you know, leaves outside with her wife in tow. They go to my mom's booth, and the lady I talk to gives my mom a card. She's a psychiatrist who specializes in anxious children. She goes, "I know some therapists in your area. Call me up." I am at once overcome with the shame of being socially anxious kid in public. And then my mind is exploding. My mind is expanding. I eat my food, and my mom goes, "Wow, wasn't that a good experience? You should try to order food more." And thin. No, it doesn't have the best punchline. It's not the funniest in the world, but, well, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much. Bye now.